need to damp your beauty blender with either water or maybe some primer, you know, just to damp it, just so it can blend out perfectly. So that's tip number 4. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you 5 makeup tips. So if you guys want to hear about the 5 makeup tips that I have for you today, please stick around. If you guys are new, welcome, and if you are not new, welcome back. If you are new, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button below and share this video. After the completion of this video, share this video with your friend, and do not forget to hit the subscribe button. So if you guys want to hear about the 5 tips I have for you today, please stick around. Welcome. So the first tip I have for you today is always clean and moisturize your face. That will allow your makeup to stay on longer. So the first tip, which is number 1, is always clean and moisturize your face. So the moisturizer that I use, which I've always used, is the moisturizer which I've always used, the Aveeno Positive Radiant Daily Moisturizer. Is what I always use to moisturize my face before I put on my makeup. So you guys can figure out what works best for you, what product you like, and what product is good for your skin. So tip number 2 is always use a primer before you add your makeup, before you apply your makeup, as a primer can help to make your makeup stay on longer and minimize the appearance of pores and fine lines. So I always use primer. And the reason why I always use primer is because I have extremely dry skin. My skin dry out fast. So I always have to use a primer, you know, as a primer helps to minimize fine lines and pores that may appear on your face. So that's tip number 2. So tip number 3, makeup tip number 3 is to always use a foundation, and it's always good to use a foundation that matches your skin. So it's always good to test the product on your skin so that it matches your skin tone before you use it. I use the Fenty Beauty. For some reason, I love Fenty Beauty product, and I use Fenty Beauty. I'm wearing Fenty Beauty matte lipstick, Fenty Beauty foundation. Right now, I don't have on any concealer, but that's what I use. So always use a foundation, and not just a foundation, but the right foundation that matches your skin tone. So that's tip number 3. You also do not want to end up with visible lines where your makeup ends. I mean, you don't want anyone to see that, right? So it's always good to use the right foundation that matches your skin tone. So tip number 4 is to always use a concealer. Concealer can hide imperfections in terms of blemishes, dark circles, dark spots that are on your face. You can use a brush to apply your concealer, or you can use your fingers, you know, to tap it out and blend it well. So always use a concealer, and always remember that your concealer should be 1 skin tone lighter. So if you're using a makeup that's skin tone 40, you need to use a concealer that is 41, at least 1 shade lighter, as it would need to cover your blemishes and dark circles and imperfections. But the thing about the Fenty Beauty product, because I use Fenty Beauty concealer, is that I use foundation number 40, and the concealer is the same number. You know, I remember when I went into Sephora to buy my concealer, and I was asking the representative, like, do I need to get one that is 1 shade lighter? And she's like, no, if you use whatever shade foundation you use, then your concealer would be the same in the brand Fenty Beauty, you know, and that makes life even much easier for me. But if you don't use Fenty Beauty, always choose a concealer that is one shade lighter than your skin tone or your foundation, so it appears to covers your imperfections and blemishes, like dark spots and dark circles. You can use your finger to blend it out, or you can use a brush. And always remember that if you are going to use the beauty blender, you need to damp your beauty blender with either water or maybe some primer, you know, just to damp it, just so it can blend out perfectly. So that's tip number 4. So tip number 5 is to always use powder to set your makeup. I don't use powder. I use setting spray to set my makeup, you know, and the one that I use, I really love it. It's called Insta Fix and Go, and that's the one that I use. But you can use your powder, but don't forget to use your powder or your setting spray to set your makeup, so your makeup can stay on longer. And do not forget, if you have oily skin, do not forget the area on your face that is oily, so you can always tap those out so your face does not look oily. So it's always good to use your setting powder or your setting spray after you apply your makeup. So I have 4 more tips to give to you, but I'm not going to give those tips to you in this video. I'm going to put those tips into my next coming video. So if you guys want to see the other tips that I have for you, the other makeup tips that I have for you, please go ahead and subscribe and turn on your post notification bell. So I just gave you 5 makeup tips that you can apply and use so your makeup can look flawless and stay on longer. I personally do not use a lot of makeup. I use my makeup very light, and I don't do a lot of things. I just and that's it. But for persons who like to use a lot of makeup and to dive into a lot of these things, then these tips are for you. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. Please go ahead and subscribe, leave a comment, like the video, and stay tuned for my other 4 tips that I have for you coming up in my next video. So thank you guys so much, and see you in my next video. Bye.